And now,
introducing the one, the only.
Let me introduce to you
lively talk with successful people, barely filtered. This is the Jenna Ben Show.
Welcome, Uriah Hall. I can't wait to dig into all of this with you. And he's in the middle of scarfing down some food because I caught him just after practice.
It's not COVID related and I cough. Hi, Jenna Ben. How you doing? It's Uriah Primetime Hall here in the flesh. Your lighting looks perfect. I need more lighting.
We're always talking about lighting.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So, I had this opportunity, obviously. I had like the second half of the show and you just being one of my good buds. And it's funny that we developed this friendship before we even met in person. I had you on the show.
Fall back. Best bud. Continue.
Okay. So we had this great interview, but then we had like some technical difficulties. So then the recording of that show was like, so then I was like, we developed this friendship. I met you here when you visited in LA. And then I visited you, or I saw you when I came to Vegas. And then, we did Fight or Die, which was awesome, which we need to do more of. And for those of you who don't know what that is, Uriah and I started this segment, which is, it's a cool story because Fight or Die came from you, because it was something someone said to you. And then I was like, damn, that's a really good just mantra, and I feel like we embody that in different ways. You're a fighter, I'm a journalist, a consultant, and it's just like, get out there and bust your butt to make it, and we kind of just talk about all things related. So anyway, welcome Uriah Hall. It's good to see you again.
It's good to be here. Very good to be here.
How was practice?
It was amazing. Tonight was so crazy. So tonight was wrestling with the new UFC fighter, JP Baez, which is Cheyenne's husband. He did a great class today. I had fun. Yes.
Okay. and coming to us straight from Jamaica, apparently.
I don't even think that was Jamaican. Jamaicans were looking at me like, what the hell was that? That was I don't even know what that was.
Whenever you do an accent, I just assume you're being Jamaican. You turned me on to this guy on Instagram. I am Doodle.
Oh my God, that guy's hilarious. Yeah.
He's so good. Okay, so are we talking about the fact that you had coronavirus, or is that off the record?
Well, now it's not.
No. I can cut it out if it's,
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Coronavirus. No, I had the Rona guy. The Rona guy stopped me.
Yeah.
And he was, having a conversation. And next thing you know, he was giving me hugs. So I had him for a good, I want to say 15 days. He was hanging out, making me cough and shit. But yeah. So the story behind that was I landed to corner Geoff, and upon arrival, I was the only one popped with COVID. And, through standard procedures, UFC had to quarantine me and in the hotel. And, they did a great job. Some of the guys there, Reed Harris, Christian Hauser, they made sure I was really good. Reed was texting me every day if I needed anything. And of course, the staff overall, I think they did a great job. I was very impressed. What sucked about it was I couldn't be there for my teammate. And, I'm sure it played a part that our coach wasn't there because he's like that backbone. And of course, I was kind of like that backup because I have experience in that field and I couldn't be there either, not to take anything away from our strength and conditioning coach and our other teammate. But when you're in there, you need your general. So.
Right.
It sucks.
Yeah. So, Geoff has had it. 2020 was not his year between sepsis and fights getting canceled and then, not getting the W on his last fight. But you know what? I pray for him. I think he's a really good dude. And I know you guys are close and training partners. So we wish Geoff Neal the best in 2021. So you have a fight coming up the day before Valentine's Day. And I know this because we FaceTimed last night and I was reminded that Valentine's Day is around the corner. Okay, so you are fighting Chris Weidman. And there was some history there. Tell us about that.
So Chris Weidman, former UFC champion, also former Ring of Combat champion, decorated wrestler. I think he's All-American. What goes back 10 years ago, we fought at Ring of Combat. I was the guy to beat, just like Anderson Silva in his prime. And, he beat me. And that was the first time I encountered fear. It was the first time I encountered this whole wrestling thing, because I was just knocking everybody out. And what it did for me at that time, it just kind of made me realize there were some serious holes. And I kind of dedicated myself to make sure I never felt uncomfortable again. So I got comfortable with being uncomfortable. I mean, got nothing bad to say about him. He's a great guy. His coach and I are actually really great friends, Serra. So, the competitive side of me is saying, you know what, I got to beat this guy up. But I also have respect for him, but none when we get into the octagon.
I've been interviewing a few of the Serra Longo guys. I had Merab Dvalishvili and Al Iaquinta, so here and there, your name will come up during my interviews just for whatever reason. And then, your fight has come up, and it's tough because you are liked and Weidman is liked. And, I'm not the only one that struggles with this, like Neil Magny and Mike Chiesa fighting, which we're going to talk about in a second. It's like, it's uncomfortable. What do? You just wish them both the best of luck. Right.
I mean, it's the hurt business. And, sometimes you got to fight your friends. I fought Carlos Antonio Jr. He was my buddy. I mean, we weren't the best of friends, but me and him have this great relationship. Every time we run into each other, it's like, hey, man, we'll be hugging and stuff. You would think we're a couple. And of course, fight week, I remember we were like, hey, man, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to fight you. We were hugging and stuff. And I remember my coach looking at me, what the hell are you doing? Like, you fight, what are you doing? But it was that mutual respect we had for each other. And, come fight day, we had to separate that. I had to separate that. It sucked punching my friend in the face, but it's a hurt business. We get paid for it. It's like Kelvin, me and Kelvin, we agreed to never fight each other. Every time I'm in LA, I'm hanging out with him. We're driving fast cars. We're chilling. I've had sleepovers. I mean, even after the Ultimate Fighter, he moved in with me. We were roommates again. So it's separating those, but I'm very competitive. And, if it comes to it, and that's a big if, we'll separate those emotions because it's a fight and it's business and we're just getting paid for it.
Yeah. Okay. A couple of stats on him. He has a record so Chris Weidman has a record of 15-5. He's ranked number 11 in the middleweight division. That's 2 spots beneath you. You guys are actually the same age, 36 years old. And, this will be an interesting one. I mean, he's a respected fighter, but so are you. I believe you're both coming off of a win. So, I always, I used to think that win streaks gave you this superpower, right? You're on top of the world. I'm winning. I'm unstoppable. I feel good. But Joanna Jedrzejczyk, when I interviewed her, she was like, and I talked about her win streak. She was like, I was scared. I was scared to lose. And that's what made me realize, like, when you have something to lose, that's where the fear kicks in. But when you're just like, damn, I got to go make something of myself.
Fuck it.
Yeah, kind of fuck it, right?
Well, it goes back if you take Joanna Jedrzejczyk, in her younger days, up and coming, she took out the champ. And, you're going to be hungry at that point. So it's like a cycle. You start training, you got to that learning aspect. Then you start to grow, you start to have more fun. You start to say, wait, I can actually do this. Then there's more challenges. Then you step completely outside your comfort zone. Then you're winning. Then you're addicted to that win. Then that fear comes in like, wow, I don't want to lose everything. Then, God forbid, if you lose it, then you have to get back on that wagon and you have to keep it. And then sometimes you get comfortable. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get in your head. Sometimes you let personal issues. Like I remember one of her interviews, she said that at the time she was going through some stressful times with her ex, I believe. Yeah. So, it's crazy to separate those emotions sometimes, to go out there. I remember years ago, right before my fight, this might've been 2014, right? Literally like a week before my girlfriend at the time broke up with me. I'm like, bitch.
Oh my God.
What are you doing? Like
a week before your fight, she broke up with you?
A week before my fight. And I had to kind of bite down and, all right, I just got to take this and separate those emotions. It was hard, but I went out there. I'm not sure if I won that fight or not. But most of those fights where there's a lot of emotions and you have to separate that. And when you have the right support system around you, whether it's people, whether it's the media, You know, you look at all the favorites right now, when they have the right support system, it gives them that extra boost. But for guys that are up and coming, you know, the younger youths in this, you know, they have to get that extra push. They might not be getting that, but it's motivation for them. It's like, I got to get there. But sometimes you don't have that motivation.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy, tricky sport we're in. And the fighting definitely makes you realize who you really are, man. Fighting brings out the real person in you.
Since we're on the topic, I've always kind of wondered, you know, we're friends, but we've never talked about life after fighting. And I'm curious, like, I know what you're after. You know, we spoke about this. You are after that belt. You're very serious about going for the title. But then what?
Poof.
Then you disappear?
No, I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years. So my body's beat up. My mind is stronger. I've learned a lot, gaining a lot of experience, but there's so much to be done. I mean, at one point I thought fighting was it. The same way I used to think when I used to work for this martial arts school, which to me is like a cult. I'm not even going to mention their name. I thought if I leave this gym, it's over. But there's life after everything. Even after death. There's life after everything. It's just another chapter. And sometimes these experiences is demanding you to grow. It's demanding a better version of you. Yeah, it's uncomfortable because now you got to figure it out. Now you got to dig deep. Now you got to be like, well, what do I really want to do? Or what makes me happy? Or what makes me feel comfortable? Or how do I see myself helping others? Or whatever the case may be. It's just an opportunity for you to, and I always say this, grow. Because as human beings, I really think we're put here to grow. So I can experience it. It's a phase. We're here temporarily. So what am I going to do in this time? Some of us get lost. Some of us find ourselves. Some of us look weird to others. It's just an experiment. And it's how we handle it, how we learn from it, how we gain from it. But there's absolutely life after this. I love teaching. I love teaching kids. I can teach any kids, you know. I love teaching adults too, because I think it's important to understand your body. And, you know, and what you put into your body, like a car, you got to fine tune it. You know, I'm good at anti-bullying stuff. I do a lot of anti-bullying campaigns. I go to school, I talk to kids because I didn't have that when I was a kid. People come into school and say, hey, it's okay. And there's a life after school. There's taxes, there's rent, there's having a job, having a wife or whatever. So there's so much things I can do, but I personally believe that UFC and the octagon and the platform that I have right now is going to be opening up a lot of doors, preferably movies, because I love to get my hands in there.
We got to get you. You know what's funny? Arnold Chan's in town in LA, and he hit me up, and he's like, you know, we got to connect. And with COVID and everything, it's been a little challenging. Actually, he just left to Hawaii for another. You know, he's in all these action movies, and I love action movies. Like I watch them, you know, kind of sometimes actively, sometimes in the background, and then like I'll like glance up from my phone or computer, and I'm like, oh, that's Arnold. Got to text him. And so it's like, you know, once a month, I'm like, hey, I see you in this. I see you in this.
So many movies or movie videos or music videos. I'm like, what the fuck? I'll pause the screen. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing in this video? Yeah.
Arnold has a very distinct look. Like, you know, he's this like Asian striking coach. Yeah. Yeah. He's good.
I call him my ninja coach because he shows me things that you see in movies, but the way he teaches it, I'm like, I can do that. Very essential guy. Great guy. So just so passionate. He's very passionate. It's very rare to find people that are passionate and a long sustainability of what they do. And he's been passionate. I mean, I know Asians don't age, but man, this dude, he looks young. Shouldn't your phone be on silent?
I knew you were going to call me out on that because you guys, I always tell my guests before we record, make sure your phone's on silent, no vibrate, you know, and then as soon as I saw the notification, I was like, oh, I'm such a rookie today, but this doesn't feel like an interview to me because we're friends. So I'm like, all right, fair enough.
Be professional.
Aye, Captain. Okay, so I got to give you a little bit of shit. When we were doing the 100th episode reunion, and I, at the time, did not know that Mike Chiesa was fighting Neil Magny. I knew that there was something in the works. Now, I'm also buds with Mike Chiesa's manager, and he kind of he kind of was like, wait, you're going to have three ranked welterweights on the same show that are likely going to fight each other. And then he also said, the way he phrased it was kind of like one of which he's likely going to fight next or something like that. And I didn't pay any attention to it. I'm like, you know me, I'm not about the drama. It's going to be good. It's going to be peaceful. And then now that I'm looking at everything in retrospect, I'm like, oh, it was right in front of me. You know, of course they were fighting each other, but your reaction,
I didn't know.
You didn't know, but you looked like you knew because you were doing this and trying to
I was just trying to say, you know, you got three welterweights in the same room. Chill out with those questions. Hello, fight.
Oh, see, but I knew I could control it. And I know, I like genuinely know their characters, you know, and I just knew they're just respectful, good dudes that happen to be fighters in the same division. So I knew it was going to be good. Okay. You said something that actually kind of woke me up. Like, it's really easy to go through life just getting by, just going through the motions. You find ways to pass the time, I think is a really good way to describe it, as opposed to making the most of your time. Mm-hmm.
Everyone's pace is different. Some people are going to get there faster. Some people got to the championship faster than me.
Right.
And I'm still in line almost. You know, I've been at 10, 9, 8, 12. I've been in that line. Mm-hmm. Some people just kind of skip around. Everyone has their own story, their own journey, their own destination, their own time of getting there. But it's up to you at the same time to be like, well, do I really want this? Mm-hmm. And if I do want this, how bad do I want this? And given the fact of how bad do I want it, what am I willing to do? And what am I willing to sacrifice to get to a place I've never been, or to get something I've never had, or just stay there and just coexist like most of these people. Like the other day, I was arguing with this 22-year-old from Australia because I'm from New York and I'd rather punch someone in the face. But I kind of had a conversation with myself. I'm like, yeah, the basic is don't reply. But I'm like, fuck. Oh,
this is online?
It's online.
Okay.
And I'm like, fuck that, man. I'm a sensitive guy. I have feelings. I don't like motherfuckers talk shit. But then I'm like, man, I wish I could educate these people. But then the other side of me is like, I wish I could beat these people up, which I'd rather. But the hardest thing, and one of my really closest friends taught me this, the hardest thing to do, because I had a lot of situations where I walk into a place and, you know, I think I'm a very attractive, young, strong individual. And other men have this ego. Their ego just come out right away because they feel threatened. So now another alpha male or the alpha male enters the room. So their perception comes out in their approach. Like I went to this suit supply store the other day and this guy, big black dude, you know, dreads in a suit. He's like, can I help you? And the way, you know, his attitude, and I worked in the customer service. Yeah. And I'm like, I should talk to customers because I'm a brother and it's a predominantly white neighborhood. Should we be a team here, motherfucker? But it was his approach. And I was with my friend and she was like, you know, she caught it too. And I kind of like, am I bugging or was he a little bit aggressive? Like, you know, and I kind of said, no, I'm good, man. I'm just shopping. And that was my defense mechanism. Mm-hmm. And then she had to talk with me and she was like, you know, it's easy to kind of be that person to defend and be like, what's up, motherfucker? Who are you talking to? But it's so much harder to understand the situation overall, to be like, this motherfucker is just like a doorman, basically. You walk around with a suit on to sell. So basically, I have more power than you. So to belittle that person is to come down and be like, you know what? I'm shopping. What's your name? Trevor? Listen, Trevor, if I need any help, I'll come to get you. Thank you. It's hard to take that approach because of ego. And that's when I'm learning about ego, how ego works. Ego comes in different shapes and sizes in people. And that's the type of challenge I'm trying to do to really get to know me, to really get to understand me. Because I never got that opportunity. It's like, let me get to understand this person. Let me get to love this person. What about me?
Right.
And the moment I'm starting to do that, it does this. And then it blossoms everywhere. If that makes sense.
It does. And I think one step further in that situation, it's almost like God is giving you the opportunity to reroute that person's day, right? Because they're coming at you maybe aggressively. You don't know what they're dealing with. you don't know, whatever, we all lead with whatever our life experiences have taught us, right? So when I look at you, I have preconceived notions based on my life experiences, which is what he was doing before you open your mouth, right? Your build, your appearance, whatever, your vibe, your energy. And I think that's a real thing, right? So then he comes at you somewhat, aggressive, and that says something about what he's experienced in the past, but nothing about you personally. So if you can take that into account, I think, and you can put that aside without having let your emotional reaction take over, then I think you have the ability to say, okay, I'm not going to be affected. Instead, I'm going to respond with kindness and positivity, and hopefully, he'll take that in. And then the next time he sees somebody that he has a reaction to, maybe he won't have that reaction anymore. Maybe the reaction will be different and more subtle or this or that,
Absolutely.
You're basically like, word.
Yeah, I mean, you said it perfect. I might have started it, but you just put that
Salt Bay.
That's all very perfect. Well said.
Thank you. All right. So do you want to weigh in on who you think is going to win between Neil Magny and Mike Chiesa, or are we going to stay neutral here? Because I'm staying neutral for sure.
I don't even know why would you bring that up, you freaking unloyal friend, you. No, I'm not going to get in that conversation at all. And
I don't know who you're closest with.
And Neil. I'm not telling you.
You're friends with both?
With Mike.
Okay, got it.
Me and Mike met a long time ago at a fight, and we grappled, and he whooped my ass. And then several years later, I don't tell him, but I whooped his ass. And then we just have this energy. Every time I see him, I just say, I want to be like Mike. And he's like, yo, what up, Uriah? We just have this Ebony and Ivory, Bacardi and Cola thing going. I think if we have a show, it should be called Bacardi and Cola. We get the job done.
That's really
Cola,
cute.
obviously.
Okay. All right. And, to be fair, Neil Magny is wonderful. Also, I like them equally. And, we were texting.
Oh, yeah, I like Neil Magny. Great guy. I know nothing bad to say about him. Every time I've seen him, he's always respectful, presenting himself well. Listen, we're all human beings in the sport, man. It's just, unfortunately, what sells this fucking sport these days is, fuck you motherfucking whatever.
Yeah.
I'm that guy that goes out there and be like, listen, we all should get along and love each other, but beat each other up first. Fuck that guy. He's too honest.
Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of people that feel that way. I've only had like a handful of guys come on the show and really support the shit talking. Chito Vera was actually sort of like, he's okay with the shit talking, but he's a very, he's a solid, I feel like he's very focused. I don't get the sense that he, you can affect him emotionally very easily.
It isn't about Chito. That's a real gangster. That motherfucker been in so many street fights.
Yeah.
You think a little shit talk is gonna fuck with him? Where they have rules? Get the fuck out of here. Chito is the man. I love that fucking guy.
He's great. We started the interview like sometimes I know fighters before they jump on the show, and then others it's completely cold. We're texting and then we jump right into it. And it was cold for us, even though his best friend Alex Perez had come on, and he's like, Chito would do great, have him on. And then as we warmed up in the interview, I felt him. I felt like I understood him. And then, we had to cut off early, but I'm going to have him back on with Alex Perez. And I don't know, maybe we'll throw you in the mix. People loved the reunion show so much, this idea of having a bunch of fighters on together, that kind of like, maybe this is something I should really do more regularly.
The Den. I get 5%. You
got it, bud. I was texting with Julian Marquez today, and he was like, he asked me a question about dating, and he was, I'm doing prep for my show. And yes, okay, so I'm just going to read you the text that he sent me and have you reply to that, and it'll be interesting.
Be like a date guru. I cannot take any of my fucking advice, but I am the man when it comes to giving them.
He goes, what's the biggest struggle you find with getting the first date?
For you or in general?
He asked me personally, and I was like, my reply to him was, well, I'm not sure I'm a good candidate for this because, you know, like I'm not really dating, as you know, I've been off the market for a while. And what? What did you say? Did you say cobwebs? What did you say?
I didn't say that.
Anyway, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can really help you because for me, I'd say the biggest challenge is meeting people that are not in this world, you know, because I work in this world. So I try to just keep it professional. And so I'm like, I don't know if that's relatable, but for you, like, I don't know if you have the same standard. And I know you've dated a fighter, you've dated non-fighters. What's your take?
So what's the question?
The question, yeah. So what's the biggest struggle you find with getting the first date?
With the way I was working right now, let's take Instagram, for example. There's a lot of people that are verified and there's a lot of people that's not. And it might be hard to kind of, you know, like a guy like me will talk to someone that's not verified or not up to that influence. Right. Which is not a topic we should get into because I think a lot of these people using that word, some of these people are taking that title, they don't even understand what the fuck influence is. Anyway,
right?
It's almost like you have to kind of change perspective. We've seen guys like Matt Damon. Didn't he date some waitress lady? She had a kid, and they're now married and stuff like that. So. It's hard, and sometimes you're in the limelight and you meet people that are in the limelight. So, and sometimes that doesn't work out. So it's the best advice I can give is just fall in love with you first. If I can fall in love with me, I'm going to use myself as an example. Then I can understand what I really want, because now I get to zone in on my thoughts, my preferences, my choices, and my standards. So once I understand this. Now I can actually make a list of things of what I really want. Like for you, you know what you really want, someone of significance. Yeah. I know what I really want. I think for me, if I can just sit on the couch and not talk to you and not feel worried about it, to me it's great. Yeah. I love confidence because confidence says, if you fall on your face and I'm not there to catch you, you're good. I love confidence in a woman. For me, that's the biggest turn on ever because it says you're strong. I don't like the whole dependence thing. I like independence. Not to say I don't want to feel wanted, but you know, I like the idea that a woman doesn't want me, you know, or she doesn't need me. There you go.
Needs you.
She wants me. She doesn't need me because you don't need someone to complete you. You need someone to accept you completely because we're all different. We all got our shit. You got a lot of shit. I got a lot of shit. Put some of your shit on top of shit, whatever. So it's zoning in on who you are first. And that might take a while. And that might be challenging. I'm not going to say hard. I'm going to say challenging because hard means it's not going to happen. But challenging means work in progress. But it's how much work you put into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I put more work into me, then I can really understand the concept of that question. Because then would it really be hard if I know who I am and what I want? No, not at all.
I think it's tough because we can compile a list of what we want, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be able to identify what the embodiment of that list is when we see it right in front of us.
Exactly. So that's, to me, expectation. And expectation leads to failure, in my opinion. So what you said is perfect. It's embodying something or creating constructive something that's not really there. Or sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want. I remember being in love with someone that I thought I was going to marry, and this person was the it factor for me. And that person was the only person on the planet that had the power to hurt me, and which this person did. And it rerouted me. So I had to look back and say, was there something I had to gain from this experience? What was it I had to gain? Because I thought this was where I belonged. So what am I supposed to gain? You see athletes that were destined for great things. They got injured, and now they turned their route to become this motivational speaker. So you never know exactly where or what you're in line with to get you somewhere, to redirect you where you need to go, because maybe you need that experience. Maybe I need to learn to love me more than I love someone else. Maybe I need to learn to take care of me more than take care of someone else. Maybe I need to learn to invest too much in this person than myself. So all of that redirected it to me. Oh shit, I got hurt by the one person I gave all that power to. What if I had all that power?
Dating is tough, you know. It's tough because...
Just don't put pressure on it.
Yeah, but you have to be ready to give of yourself. And that is a whole nother... For example, we have career goals, you and I, and we know what we need to do to propel ourselves forward. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but we have a general roadmap. When you add another variable into the mix, it especially, this particular variable has potential to bring so much joy and awesome energy into your life and elevate you, but it also has the potential to deviate you from your ultimate plan, from your goal. And
whoa, are you talking about the person?
Yeah, I'm talking about dating someone. So when you add them to your life, you know, there's potential for greatness, but there's also inevitably they're going to add more hurdles and roadblocks to your journey. 100%, that's unavoidable because there will be conflict and conflict resolution. You know, people don't communicate the same way. Communication, everyone says, oh, communication is important. Of course it is. But how do you communicate? And does the way that you communicate make sense for me? Does it feel good to me? Is it constructive, or does it completely distract me and make me anxious and, you know, blah, blah, blah. There's so many things, right? So you have to be prepared to take on.
It's overthinking.
No, this is experience.
In my experience, looking back, it's overthinking. When we want something, we already made up our mind. But to say, what about this, is to kind of say, it's doubt. It's either bringing doubt or confusing ourselves. If I made my mind up already to go left, and I'm going to be like, should I go right? I'm overthinking.
Yeah.
I've already made my mind up. Most of the time in a relationship or situation, we've already made up our minds. We're either just trying to talk ourselves out of it, or we're just so fucking confused. We're making ourselves more stupid. Life is extremely simple. And here's why. When you want to take a shit, do you negotiate with your ass, or do you go take a fucking shit?
You couldn't pick any other analogy.
I could have picked a drink of water. But when you got to take a shit, you got to take a shit.
Right.
When you got to go to the bathroom, you got to go to the bathroom. When you're thirsty, you're thirsty. It's not even a second thought. But the moment something else comes up, we put this big pressure on it. No, it's different because it's feeling. What? Understand your feelings first. And that's why I'm encouraging people to learn themselves first before they start to, it's hard to, no, it's not. It's because you don't know who the fuck you are. When you know who the fuck you are, then you can make better fucking decisions. You cannot make decisions and you can't understand or comprehend things from the outside if you don't fucking know this guy. This is the captain. I got to know me. I got to really understand. And the only way to do that is to invest in me. Invest. Be loyal. You know why? Because nobody knows you better than you. You can lie to everybody, but when you look in that mirror, it's like, why'd you eat that fucking cake, Jenna? You know you weren't supposed to.
Why'd you have to bring up the cake? I told you that in confidence. I had carrot cake for dinner, and I told Uriah, and he just put me on blast.
I just spoke to the other Jenna, the real you, and she told me. That's all I'm saying. My point is, you can't lie to yourself. The point is, you can't lie to yourself. So the reason why I don't comprehend it the way you're looking at it right now, because I refuse to give it that much power. It should not be that.
That's fair.
It shouldn't. yes, you're going to have disagreements in a relationship because that's the part where you're trying to understand each other. When I was dating, or even with some of my friends, we've had disagreement, but here's the key structure. It's actually sitting there and be like, okay, why did we have this? I understand how you felt because of this. Now understand how I feel because of this. And then you come here. I was upset because of this reason. Well, I was upset because of this reason. Well, how do we compromise so we both get what we want? Well, I think we should do this. Well, if you do this, this will affect this. This is true. So then how can you do that without not affecting that? Well, maybe we should do this. I think I can do that too. Let's go compromise. We listen to understand. We don't listen to reply. And when we start listening to reply, just like America's doing right now, because we're turning, I can't even call people pussies no more. Pussies is strong. Pussy could take a beating, a pounding, and a baby can come out of it. We're all just sensitive balls, just sensitive balls. But we need to compromise.
Yeah.
And communicate properly. We have the ability to do it. You fucking kidding me? We can supposedly put a fucking man in the mood we can't fucking talk to. Come on, man. You serious? We haven't figured it out that every one of us have the same fucking color blood. We haven't figured that out. That we all kind of look like, just different fucking texture of the sun.
Right.
We haven't figured that out. Like, what the fuck is wrong with us? Yeah, I'm sure the aliens are looking at us like these dumb motherfuckers. We are not saving any of them. The planet's gonna blow up in about 100 years. Fuck it.
I don't know if they're friendly aliens or evil aliens. I'm really excited to find out, though.
I don't blame them. If they come here and be like, listen, kill all the motherfuckers. I'm with you.
Wait, I want to do another show where we like dive into the whole alien thing. And to prepare, I think Frank Shamrock was watching a documentary and he was like, you have to watch this. So I think I'm going to send you the link and then we'll both watch it. And then we should do another show because I love alien talk.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's infinite universes out there. And you mean to tell me we're the only fucking one? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that is
somebody's
weird.
Out there. There's another version of me that's probably white, ugly, and has a lot of money in a parallel universe.
I'm just hearing the theme song to the X-Files right now. Just do.
How do we get off the topic dating this shit? I just went completely left down the street.
This is what we do though. We FaceTime for we could have done a whole show with our conversation through FaceTime last night too.
Yeah, we could have.
All right. Well, yeah, we're officially
Julian's
over
question.
time. Yeah, answer it, please.
Oh, I thought I did, but no, it's not hard. It's knowing who you are to make proper decision of what you want.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good recap.